play hide and clap?
In January 1971, the Perron family moved into a 14-room farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, where Carolyn, Roger, and their 5 daughters began to notice strange things almost immediately after they moved in. It started small. Carolyn noticed things moving from one place to another on their own. She heard the sound of something scraping against the kettle in the kitchen when no one was around. She found piles of dirt in the center of a newly cleaned kitchen floor. The girls began to notice spirits around the house, though for the most part, they were harmless. There were a few that were angry. Yet, while these events were somewhat innocent, others were much more sinister, especially those centered around a spirit named Bathsheba. Carolyn allegedly researched the history of the home and discovered that it had been in the same family for 8 generations, and that many of them had died under horrible circumstances. Several of the children had drowned in a nearby creek, one was murdered, and a few of them committed suicide in the attic. The spirit that was depicted in the film, Bathsheba, was the worst of them all. Whoever the spirit was, she perceived herself as the mistress of the house, and she resented the competition my mother posed for that position, said Andrea, the oldest of the 5 girls. It turns out there was actually a real person named Bathsheba Sherman who lived on the Perron's property in the mid-1800s. She was rumored to have been a Satanist, and there was evidence that she had been involved in the death of a neighbor's child. Though no trial ever took place, she was buried in a nearby Baptist cemetery in downtown Harrisville. The Perrons believed that it was Bathsheba's spirit that haunted them. According to Andrea, the family experienced other spirits that smelled like rotting flesh and would cause beds to rise off the floor. Over the 10 years that the Perron family lived in the house, the Warrens made multiple trips to investigate. At one point, Lorraine Warren conducted a seance to attempt to contact the spirits that were possessing the family. During the seance, Carolyn spoke in an unknown language, and the chair she was sitting on began to levitate, and she was thrown 20 feet across the room. Andrea claims to have secretly witnessed the seance. Andrea said, "My mother began to speak in a language not of this world in a voice that wasn't hers. Her chair levitated and thrown across the room. After the seance, Roger Perron kicked the Warrens out, worried about his wife's mental stability. The Perron family continued to live in-house due to financial instability until they were able to move in 1980.